All right, we want to get to CBS News LA's Kara Finnstrom in Ventura County, California for us. What does the mountain fire, what does the damage look like from this fire so far? What does it look like?
Well, the damage here in Camarillo is horrific. A lot of folks who have lived here, had family living here for generations, tell us they don't even recognize their communities. And let me just give you a look at a couple of the homes here, because it's literally block after block like this. You can see some of the devastation here. I mean, homes just literally burned to the ground. And if we pan around, I want to show you across the street, the same thing. You can see a car that actually had to stop in the middle of the street, just was left there and abandoned. And then another home across the street that was devastated as well. In the midst of all this, there are homes that are still standing, and so they're still doing the assessments here. They're still figuring out exactly what the need will be, but there's also a lot of damage to the community. There's a lot of power lines down. There's a lot of there's water that's been impacted. I spoke with a resident here who got a warning. Don't drink the water right now. We'll let you know when you can, because it's been contaminated. So a lot of different issues that they're going to have to deal with here in order to get folks back home once they deem it safe.
Yeah, that area is not a stranger to wildfires, though, as you know, Kara. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed an emergency proclamation a day after the fire started. Can you tell us what that help is going to look like?
Yeah, he's gotten a grant from FEMA, which will bring in some resources that are going to be very much needed here as they try to get the right type of aid to the families who've lost their homes, and also the right type of aid to the community, again, as they do all of the infrastructure improvements that are needed. We've seen a lot of utility crews out here working to make sure those gas lines are safe. You know, there's a lot of damage that was done by this fire to that infrastructure. A lot of the roads also kind of burnt and cracked up in different places. It was a very intense fire that moved through here very quickly, and they're still just trying to figure out what all the repairs are that will be needed. But we can tell you that today we've seen kind of a shift away, now that they've got a little bit more of a containment sort of underway. 7% containment, which to us sounds wonderful. It means that they're starting to draw out those containment lines around the fire, and we don't see the smoke in the air that we did yesterday. Still a lot of work to be done there, but they're now kind of shifting towards this rebuilding, repairing, getting people back into the community.
That is a great point, Kara, because even though that number sounds small, that is tremendous progress that they've made. Kara Finnstrom with CBS News Los Angeles. Thanks so much, Kara. All right, Jess, you know, this is really interesting because usually we don't talk about the weather as being the same in Southern California as it is in New York.
I know.
But it has been over the last couple of days, and that's really what's contributed to these fires.
Absolutely. The big thing, too, is we're still dealing with low relative humidity. It was one of the driest months on record up into the mid-Atlantic, all throughout the Northeast. So let's actually dive over into that region first before we give some love to our friends down in Southern California and talk more about those weather conditions into this weekend's forecast. Here's what's happening. Red flag warnings, all in that pink color you see, stretched throughout New Jersey, New York, all throughout that region. They are dealing with winds pushing in from the west anywhere up to around 30 miles per hour with low relative humidity around 25% right now, actually. Until 6 o'clock tonight, they're going to be under that red flag warning. And you see areas like Atlantic City into the evening hours tonight. That smoke plume will continue to actually shift, starting to push south into the overnight hours tonight as they gear up for what's to come into the next couple days with those winds pushing into the north. But let's change gears. Let's head down into the south. Areas like Los Angeles. You even heard her a second ago. She said, well, at least the skies are blue right now. However, Los Angeles and all throughout that region, they're going to be dealing with a couple of things heading into this weekend. The winds are changing directions. They're actually going to start pushing in from offshore a little bit, delivering that smoke back into those communities. So an air quality alert is in effect. That's that gray color right there. The pink color down into Southern California is also a red flag warning too, just like our friends up in New Jersey and New York. So here's where the mountain fire is at right now. Here's the direction of the winds too. Still pushing offshore, delivering that smoke in a different area. However, into the coming days, we'll watch it almost swirl back into those communities at the surface level, allowing for that air quality alert to remain in effect. We continue to keep a very close eye on wind gust, anywhere up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour into this weekend's forecast in certain peak elevations. But mind you, it only takes about a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind gust to really allow for those spot fires to still push around. So 7% containment, like we mentioned earlier, is great, but there's still a lot of work to be done down there.
Those winds are just so frustrating, and they're relentless, and that's really what's fueling these fires. There's no way to control it.
Exactly.